So after they dismissed the jury today, did you see when Hank Brennan tried to, again, argue why they shouldn't allow Arca to testify and literally accused the Department of Justice of some shit? Like, this dude is some fucking set of hanging ones, huh? He's making some bold statements. But anyways, Judge Cannoni, let's start with her. The fucking filthy sewer dumpster bug. Hold on a second.
I have one question for you. So would you stand, please? You're arguing this, right? This was your motion. So my question is, how do I reconcile the fact that 100 text messages were deleted by counsel? And we heard yesterday counsel's preferred method of dealing with Dr. Wolf was via signal. How do we reconcile that with the Massachusetts Rules of Professional Conduct 1.15? I don't see how you reconcile that, where all correspondence related to the matter, whether in physical or electronic form, must be saved for 10 years minimum. How do you reconcile that? How do I reconcile that?
Who watched the end of that and literally had the ability to keep their jaw from hitting the goddamn floor? What the F? This is exactly what Bev did when she almost kicked AJ off the team, remember? When everyone was so scared because she, like, made them all shit their pants. Well, maybe not them, but definitely me.
Should I go to the podium?
Right there, and I expect a short answer.
The short answer, Your Honor, is the rule that you're citing has absolutely no applicability to this proceeding. Can I finish my answer, Your Honor?
Right ahead.
Has no applicability. That rule is intended to be between an attorney and the client. The court has no jurisdiction to enforce that rule.
I agree. That's a different body, but I'm asking you how I reconcile that when I'm trying to figure this out. Mr. Alessi, you know what? You're going to win this, so why don't you just let me make my ruling, okay? So.
Oh, so now you agree, Bev? Now you agree? You didn't think he knew the law? You didn't think he was going to do his homework? You don't think the team Reed goes home and knows every scenario that Snake Brennan's going to try and use? And you corrupt coward? You guys crack me up thinking that you guys got a shot. It's funny. It is funny. And here comes Bev's lashing, just to remind everyone that she's the boss. And if you make her look like a piece of shit, and you make her look like she doesn't know the fucking law or her ass from her elbow, she's gonna call you out and tell you how much you've been a bad kid today, and she's sick of it.
I understand there have been repeated violations of the reciprocal discovery orders and my orders, repeated and deliberate. But, and Mr. Brennan, I understand completely the Commonwealth's argument, completely the ambush that has been set upon here. However, a defendant's right to a fair trial is paramount to everything. So I'm going to allow the Arca witnesses to testify. I am going to allow what I expect to be a very robust cross-examination. And I'm going to allow them to testify to everything that they said up until yesterday. So you'll get the report May 7th. And I know that's late. And if you need anything as a result of that being late, I'll hear you on whatever motion you have. But that's where we stand. And I expect counsel to comply with all rulings and rules of the court and all rules of professional conduct. And no more nonsense. Let's just try this case. All right, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, court, please.
Okay, just real quick back to how Hank Brennan was talking ish about the Department of Justice and the Arca boys. Come on, man. You're going to sit here and talk crap about the crash daddies? You're insane. There's no way that you could ever discredit their name or anything about them. They're the most professionals out there. And they're kicking your ass, bro. And it's fucking amazing to watch. I love every second of it, you piece of shit.
There was, in fact, conversations or information exchange about bettering the presentation for the defense. Inevitably, I asked him about the sequestration order and how evasive he was. You simply have to compare him to Dr. Rensselaer, who was quite candid. An hour or 45 minutes with Dr. Wolf, difficult getting a straight answer. Dr. Rensselaer told us more in 5 minutes than Dr. Wolf told us his entire examination. And what we unfortunately learned is that during the trial, when this court had a sequestration order, information was being passed to the experts about witness testimony, in this case, unknown to the Commonwealth, unknown to the court, information, particular information, not general information, witness testimony, issues in the case. We have no idea who is deciding or identifying the issues and who the advantage is given to in describing those issues. But that is witnesses being prepped through an intermediary. So we know the Department of Justice, at least, is violating the order, helping the witnesses along, and then they testify unbeknownst to the Commonwealth that they have this information, but obviously it's reflected in the testimony. In addition, I provided some clips to Your Honor for review.
Yes, do you want me to mark these as an exhibit?
Brennan really just allude to the fact that the Department of Justice is in on the collusion or the conspiracy with Karen Reed? Because that was a bold statement to make, bro. And today was wild. I didn't expect it to be really at first because it was kind of boring and we weren't going to get to cross the Jim McCabe. But wow, there's so much to talk about.